Good evening, sim racing fans across the globe. We're going to come to you live from the last great Coliseum from Bristol, Tennessee. This is the Bristol Motor Speedway. You're watching LSRTV bring you live coverage of the Domino's TYJ Racing Cup Series from their race here from the great Bristol Motor Speedway. Hello, everybody. My name is Justin Rosenau. Joining me in the booth tonight will be the one and the only Tyler Herr. Tyler, we got a big bunch of laps under the lights here, 200 laps on the board, and we know Bristol, it can be a lot of short tempers, but it also can provide a lot of great racing, as I'm seeing here. A lot of guys being able to pass around the track, and with this new low downforce config and softer tires, we're really going to be possibly seeing something here tonight.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be great racing all around here at Bristol Motor Speedway, but with the new downforce package, I think there are still a few unknowns when it comes to short track racing here. Of course, Bristol has multiple lanes to which you can race on, but I still think that outside lane is going to be the most dominant one of the evening.
And as we get ready to roll over towards the qualifying session, going to be, looks like private qualifying because we are at a 1/2 mile racetrack here. Bristol Motor Speedway, technically 0.533 miles on the length, but here in the sim it shows 0.50, so I don't know if they're measuring just on the inside here. Progressive banking on this all-concrete Coliseum. You're going to have somewhere up around 25 degrees on the high side and as little as 20 on the bottom. And as we get ready to roll off here, qualifying going to get underway. Fastest guy in practice is going to be the 19 of Curtis Young. He had a 14.357, and going to see if he can defend that time here as everybody's under the gun. You only get 2 laps to put down your best time. Who's going to be the guy that gets the pole?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick Curtis Young here to get the pole. He's been quick the past couple of weeks here in the series, and he's always one to look out for. Sean Mir, he might be up there. He was 6th on the board tonight so far with a 14.445 in practice.
On board with the 81 of Joey Lamb, you're going to see him make his laps here. He's going to cross the stripe here to put his first time down on the board. It's going to be second quick with a 14.49. He's going to get in the wall, and that's going to cancel this lap, so he's going to have to settle for that 14.49, which is about 1/100th of a second quicker than where he practiced.
One thing I noticed, as he crossed the line, I saw it flash up here, 150 miles an hour. That is ridiculous speed here at Bristol. And with under a 14.5-second lap, these guys are flying around here during qualifying, and they were flying around here during practice as well.
And as we get ready to roll the rest of qualifying, 1.5 minutes into this 5-minute timed qualifying session with just 2 laps allowed by all the drivers. The fastest guy thus far on the provisional pole will be the 33 of Brad Roast, and he is on that pole with a 14.474. We covered Joey Lamb. He's still second on the board with a 14.49 with an 8 attached to that, so just 2/100ths of a second separate the front 2 drivers. Several big names have yet to qualify. The guy, again, we mentioned him, Curtis Young, with a 14.357 in practice. Can he pick it up in qualifying? And I see we have a new provisional pole time person in the 20 of Eric Hawk. He timed in with a 14.46. Tyler, that's pretty blistering around this half-mile racetrack.
Yeah, and I think we're just going to see the times continue to drop as some of the faster guys come out onto the track. Len McNeese, he was 2nd quickest in practice. He still needs to go out on track. Ivan Jones, 5th quickest. And of course, Curtis Young, we're still waiting on him to take a time. And it looks like Len McNeese, he put down the 10th best time so far tonight, a 14.538. That's 5/1000ths off of the 00 Sean Mir, my pick for the pole, who sits 10th right now, or 9th.
As we'll update you here in just a moment here, and just to convert that for what everybody's looking for in terms of mile per hour, 14.464, which was the quick time of the moment, an average speed around this speed plant at 132.66 miles an hour for the 20 of Aaron Hogg. Justin Anderson just has to go down to the 10,000th of a second to break the stranglehold for his attempt at the front row. 14.47 with a 4 and an identical time by the 33 of Brad Rose. Tyler, that is pretty tight if you ask me, if we're going down to the 4th and 5th decimal point.
Yeah, looking through the field here, it looks like from first place on the board down to 12th, just separated by 1/10 of a second. That is a huge, or not, excuse me, that is a small margin there between times.
And we'll let qualifying wind down, but we're going to send it down trackside right now. You're going to catch up with tonight's pre-race ceremonies. It's time for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
All right, everybody, it's time for the Inside Sim Racing TV starting lineup, and on the front row with a time of 14.463 seconds will be your pole sitter, the 20 of Eric Hawk, starting at his outside in the 16, Justin Anderson with a 14.474.
Brad Roast is going to start on the 3rd position here in the 33 car. Joey Lamb will start 4th. Curtis Aho 5th. Philip Myers 6th. Gary Brown 7th, Robert McFarland will start in 8th position, Joshua Ramos in 9th, Sean Meir rounds out the top 10.
At 11th we have Lynn McNeese, 12th will be Ryan Steinecker, 13th Jim Locking, 14th is Ellery Queen, 15th will go to Chad Payne, 16th will be Brent Scott, 17th Patrick Elhofer, 18th is Don Norris, 19th Steve Cunningham, and 20th Mike Donahue.
21st, the 8 of Tyler Roberts, Joe Owen 22nd, David Gainford 23rd, 24th to the Russ Cone Machine, Dean Viney starts 25th, 26th to the 54 of Dennis Cook, the 27th spot to the 112 of Ray Schmidt, Justin Faulkner 28th, Curtis Young 29th, Ivan Jones rounds out the top 30. As you see the rest of the starting grid roll across your screen, we're going to get ready to fire off 38 Cup cars here in the Domino's TYJ Cup Series as we get ready to roll underneath the lights here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. The pace car going to make that hard left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road, possibly. Maybe a lap early here, folks, but Tyler, I tell you what, man, I'm excited, man. Short track racing, low downforce package. I'm curious to see what kind of racing we're going to get.
Whatever racing it's going to be intense. This is Bristol after all, so we're going to see some heated racing and maybe some heated tempers by the end of this. This is going to be fun to watch.
Quickly, Bucky, do you think that low line is going to come in with the dynamic surface and the low downforce?
I think early on we'll see the low line, but as the tires wear, I look for these drivers to move up the racetrack. I think that we're going to see two different grooves of racing here all throughout the night. It's going to be very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this low downforce package does on the new build.
Pace car to the safety of pit road. We're going to do it this time, waiting for that green flag to wave. The 20 of Eric Hawk, he's going to come up through the gearbox first, and he kind of delayed it a little bit. Got a really good jump on that start. The 16 of Justin Anderson going to dive down to the inside a little bit to protect from the 81 of Joey Lamb, who's going to use his spot, his fourth starting spot, to jump up all the way to third. Everybody trying to get single file at the front of the field and just kind of ride and see what kind of goes on. One car down to the inside. That's going to be the 17. He's slow to the inside. And Tyler, I'm telling you something right now, already passing for action with the 62 on the racetrack.
Oh, 33 had a big wiggle there coming out turn 4, and sounds like caution out on the track for the 15 car of Don Norris. Surprisingly, a one-car accident, so no one else involved. That's very lucky for this field here.
Heavy front-end damage for the 15 of Don Norris. Underneath the caution flag on lap 2 already. And we get ready to fire these guys off here in just a few more caution laps. And Tyler and Bucky already Bristol claiming victims here at the half mile.
Yeah, looking back at that replay there, it looked like, as you mentioned, the 17 car of Philip Meyer was slow on the inside. I think he had to start from the pits, and Don Norris, he was making his arc down the track to get a straighter line off the corner. Saw him, panicked, and just shot dead right then after the adjustment, and that destroyed his car there. But so far, luckily, as I said, one car incident, no one else involved except for the 15, but that is a hard lick for that 15 car tonight.
Tough luck indeed. We'll get ready to rack them, stack them, and fire them off here once again. The 17, he's going to get the lucky dog, Philip Meyer. He's going to go get his free pass to get back on the lead. Let Don Norris, the only car that's sitting on pit road. Brent Rogers, Justin Faulkner, the 3 and the 51 have not taken the start or the green flag, so those guys dead last, 37th and 38. 38 cars again here in the server for the Domino's TYJ Cup Series. We're underneath the caution flag for an early incident on lap number 2 for this 15 of Don Norris. The Domino's car hit the outside wall after seeing a slow lap car, and that is the reason why we are underneath the caution flag.
Yeah, no, it didn't take long until we had trouble on the racetrack. Hopefully these guys, when we go back green, can kind of settle it out and just ride it out and just click off some lap times. There's going to be a lot of guys that started in the back. They're going to want to make their way up through the field. With this being a half mile and a short track, a lot of these guys at the back are trying to get through the field so they do not go a lap down once that happens and their race is just about over.
Going to have another caution lap or two here as we wait for the field to get double file once again here. Eric Hawk still the leader. He was the pole sitter and has led all 6 laps thus far. It'll be 7 next time around. Justin Anderson second. Joey Lamb third. The 41 of Robert McFarland already up from the 8th spot. He's climbed his way all the way up to 4th. And how about the 62 of Ellery Queen? He started 14th, got all the way up to 8th in just a couple of laps. Big movers in the early going.
Yeah, to go from 14th to 8th that quickly here in Bristol, just about 1 lap. He must have been flying around there on the outside, just taking advantage of everyone stuck on the bottom. But interesting developments under this caution. It seemed like the 24 of Zachary Duba made contact with the 71 as everyone was blowing up. And to me, it looked like the 24 wasn't very happy with the 71. Started beating fenders there, and 24's been parked for the evening, so Zachary Duba, he's going to finish towards the bottom of the page here in tonight's event.
Tempers already getting hot here at the last great Coliseum. The pace car going to dive to the safety of pit road here out of turn number 4. Get ready to fire him off once again. Field in the hands of the 20 of Eric Hawk. He's going to be in control here on the restart. Going to see if Justin Anderson can get a better restart. He's right there and actually stays with the 20 of Eric Hawk. He's going to look to his outside. It's going to be a battle for the lead out of 2.
The 20 of Eric Hawk clears the 16 as there's almost contact between the 23 and 41 behind them. The 41 of Robert McFarland fighting hard for that 3rd position on the outside of Joey Lamb as he's all the way up against the wall. Joey Lamb will be able to clear the 41 as the 41 just brushes the turn 3 wall. A lot of contact there with the wall for the 41 of Robert McFarland. The 16 starts to get loose there coming out of turn number 4, and caution's out again on the racetrack.
Caution out once again, just seeing a one car get in the wall. I believe that's the 62 of Ellery Queen, clipped the wall there right as the flag happened there. The 54 Dennis Cook, I don't know what happened there. We have a big mess on the front straightaway, and that's going to take out several cars. I'm seeing the 14 of Gary Weston. Replay going up on your screen so you folks can see all the carnage that just happened. And that is why we are underneath the caution flag for the second time here on lap number 10.
Looks like Curtis Young trying to get through the field just turned the 54 there, and several drivers getting collected. The 17 of Philip Meyer, he was the lucky dog, and then as the rest of the field came around just trying to get through there, a lot of drivers might have gotten some collateral damage just by trying to check up.
Tough luck for a lot of those guys, but we're underneath the caution flag for the second time tonight here. You're going to catch all the action here on the restart here. We're going to take this time to step aside, and we'll recap all the action with pit stops, damage repairs, all the like as we come back from commercial break. You're watching the Domino's TYJ Cup Series here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the Domino's TYJ Cup Series here with their Bristol 200 here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. We'll welcome you back from commercial break, getting ready to roll off here for another American Ethanol restart. And Tyler Herr, I'm telling you, we got a little bit of action here and there, guys, coming and going already. A lot of big wrecks already. 2 cautions, 10 laps. I hope this is not a thing, a foreboding, if you will, of things to come, but as it stands right now, Eric Hawk shows like he has the strongest car, has been able to hold off any challenge from the 16 of Justin Anderson, as those two have been up front the entire time.
Yeah, nobody's really been able to get settled in here to really see any long-term racing at the moment, so far it's just speculation as to what we'll see, but hopefully we'll start getting some green flag laps put down, some rubber put down on this track, seeing who has more of a long run speed than short run speed.
One has to think that, oh sorry Bucky, but one has to think as we get ready to go underneath the American Ethanol green flag once again, pace car to the safety of pit road. One would have to think that we're going to see some longer green flag runs once the field starts to string itself out. Green flag waving once again. Better restart this time for the 16 of Justin Anderson. He's going to take the lead easily out of turn 2 over the 20 of Aaron Hawk. Everybody else trying to get single file side by side for third. Going to be the 41 of Robert McFarland trying to hold off the 81 of Joey Lamb, who's trying to use that inside and fresher tires to try to get underneath and around the 41 of McFarland.
Yeah, it looked like the 20 of Eric Hawk spun the tires when going through the gearbox there on the front stretch and allowed the 16 to get the lead, but the 20 is fighting back hard on the bottom side, almost makes contact with Justin Anderson in the left rear quarter panel, but so far Justin Anderson is really holding the high side here, but the 20 is not giving up, but here comes the 81 of Joey Lamb to join the fight.
Towards the back of the pack, we've got side-by-side racing, cars on the bottom, cars up top, even some in the middle. Great racing here from Bristol Motor Speedway, as long as we can stay green.
Battle almost at the front of the field here, sorted itself out here. The 16 and Justin Anderson and his Finnegan's Ford Fusion here, a St. Patrick's Day theme on that race car. He had a big challenge, almost 3 deep there. Eric Hawk, Joey Lamb were right there knocking at the door, but it looked like the 20 of Eric Hawk got loose. He's running the middle of the racetrack at the moment. He's under siege from the 81 at Joey Lamb in third, and he's trying to dive down and diamond that corner off to get side by side with the 20 of Eric Hawk, and really everybody just trying to feel out their race cars. But a little bit further back, got more action in the field there for 7th spot here. The 41 of McFarland with that damage on his race car. He's having to hold on. He's losing spots to the 00 Sean Muir. The 33 of Brad Roast trying to claw back. He started, oh man, he creamed the wall, didn't he, Tyler?
Yeah, and I was watching that 33 of Brad Roast. I wasn't sure if he was going to get tagged there or not, but he gets by cleanly. Caution out.
Caution on the speedway for the 3rd time here, and we already at lap number 25 here. Get the update for you. I believe the 8 is going to be involved, and he's going to be the lone car sitting dead sideways. I see the 71 of Dean Viney's also involved, so Tyler Roberts, the 71 of Dean Viney involved. And again, that's going to put us underneath the Service Master Clean caution flag for the 3rd time as the replay goes up on your screen.
It looks like the 86 of Steve Cunningham. Steve Cunningham. He just turns the 88s nose first into the outside wall, and Russ Coe involved, Dean Viney involved, Bill Meyer, another incident he's been involved in, but that was a very interesting wreck there going down the backstretch.
As we'll get a little bit more word of what's going on behind the scenes here as the judgment may be made on that call. Damage looked a little bit rough there, maybe some very aggressive driving. Here in the 20 is going to come down to pit road. That's going to be Eric Hawk. He's going to give up that 2nd spot, and he's going to make that long, lonely trip down 35 miles an hour of pit road to try to get service on that machine. Tires already starting to fade, and I'm going to ask you, Bucky, one of the things that I've noticed here is with the softer tires will be at a premium, but will we see something like that here even at Bristol?
You know, it's going to be interesting to see if that is going to be the key tonight. Are we going to have enough green flag laps to really see what these tires can do? Right now, we're not getting any information. But I would most definitely say that the fresh tires, Ford tires, are definitely going to be key if you're going to win this race. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy some of these drivers do pull in the late stages of this race.
And here's the question I'm going to ask you, Tyler. With your being Eric Hawk, you're going to restart somewhere around 25th or so on the 20th to 25th on the racetrack. You know, that's going to put you in that danger zone. We've already seen a lot of caution flags come from that mid to lower pack there. And if I'm Eric Hawk, I've shown I got a good race car. What am I doing putting myself back here? I mean, you had to have been thinking some more guys were going to come down pit road, huh?
Well, from what I saw during that last run, it looked like Eric Hawk might have lost the handle on that race car just a little bit, so right around the lap 25 mark, why not come down, grab 4 fresh tires? But the problem is, if he's losing the feeling that quickly in the car, and he has now 19 cars separating him from 20th place where he's running to the lead, it's a very risky call, in my opinion, because you have to fight your way up through the field. The leader is just going to be able to drive away without any traffic in front of him, so by the time you might make any progress, your tires are already burned up.
That very well could be the case. He practiced at 30th quick here. Pace car getting everybody doubled up here as we get ready to go back underneath the American Ethanol green flag. It's going to be Justin Anderson. He's going to take the top side on the restart there. Got a really good restart last time. Joey Lamb to his inside in second. 23, Gary Brown. Third, Ryan Steinecker going to restart. Fourth is the American Ethanol green flag. Waves once again. Everybody coming up through the gearbox. Good restart for the 16 of Justin Anderson. But he's got to fend off the 81 of Joey Lamb as they're door-to-door on it too.
Going down to turn number 3, still side by side. Joey Lamb is going to grab the lead, a power move on the bottom side of the racetrack, and slides up in front of the 16. New leader on the board on lap 30 here. Joey Lamb takes the top spot as the top 4 get single filed out.
From there on back, Sean Muir trying to hold off a big old herd of cars there in the 00. He's going to have the 62 of Ellery Queen get around him. He's got to hold off the 33 of Brad Rose in that Peak Antifreeze Chevrolet. You have that Haas machine with Monster Energy on board, that 41 of Robert McFarland. Very similar scheme to Kurt Busch in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. He's going to run that car around the outside like he's always been doing here, but still damage on board that machine as well. Everybody trying to get single file. How about the 20 of Eric Hawk? Restarted 21st on that restart, already up to 16th, and he's climbing his way through the field. He's really getting a chance to see how good these 4 fresh tires are. But then again, like you just said, Tyler, I think there's a good chance he might be burning them tires off, especially if he came down pit road that early.
Right now, we're seeing the 16 falling back a bit more. He's now a second off the lead, back to 3rd place. Had a momentary battle with the 23 right now, but so far the 81 Joey Lamb, he's really starting to pull away from the field a bit by bit here. But going back to the 20 of Eric Hawk, right now he has a big 4-car group right in front of him, almost side by side. At this point in the race, is that the 29 brushes the wall right in front of him as he gets around him. But right now there are so many cars in front of you and such a small racetrack, it's almost difficult to judge where you're going to need to go as the 29 brushes the wall again in turn 3 and 4.
The 20 Eric Hawk just powers around the outside of the 22 of Joshua Ramos. He's going to dip down to the bottom, try to get around the 5 of Patrick Eloffer, and caution on the speedway once again. 4th Service Master Clean caution flag on the speedway here again at lap 38.
The 17 machine of Philip Meyer, 420 of Russ Coe, it looks like a big mess going down into turn 1.
The 88 as well.
Number 9 of Chad Payne is the one that had started the caution there.
We'll
Leaders are pitting now.
Leaders coming down pit road. We're going to recap after the commercial break here. We're going to take a caution flag of our own. You're watching the Domino's TYJ Cup Series here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. You're watching LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back, everybody, to LSRTV and iRacing Live, watching the Domino's TYJ Cup Series here and for their Bristol 200. And we're going to take time to plug the title sponsor of the series, Domino's. With Domino's new Piece of the Pie rewards, you can earn a free pizza after just 6 online orders of $10 or more. Sign up today at www.dominos.com/rewards. Domino's. Oh yes, we did. Getting ready to go back underneath the American Ethanol green flag. Leaders came down pit road that time. Looks like possibly the 16 of Justin Anderson stayed out, along with the 62 of Ellery Queen. A lot of guys coming down trying to put 4 fresh Goodyear tires on those machines. Tyler, take us through a recap of what happened on pit road.
Well, we had plenty of drivers stay out, but it looks like the first car that came out of the pits there was your old leader, the number 81 of Joey Lamb, and he's going to restart in 10th position. So he has a bunch of drivers in between him and the lead now, but Eric Hawk, the number 20, where he restarted 21st at last restart, he's now going to restart this race in the 5th position. So a big move in just a short amount of time for the 20 machine.
Looks like the lights are off on the American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car, and that may make the hard left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road. That Service Master Clean yellow flag being taken away. The American Ethanol green flag being displayed once again on the racetrack. Justin Anderson with a strong restart over Ellery Queen. He gets out to a great lead. Robert McFarland going to try to settle into third, but he's under attack from the 70 of Mike Donahue, and he's going to use that Miller High Life Chevrolet to get around him. He's going to put himself strongly into the 3rd spot. The 20 of Eric Hawk, he's got his hands full. He's wheel to wheel in a hornet's nest. He's got several cars. The 19 of Curtis Young, the 2 of Marcus Potts. Those guys all trading paint on the racetrack at the moment on the front straightaway.
Eric Hawk even using the apron of the track, trying to get that car to turn on the bottom. But right now, that high line is starting to prevail as the 2 and the 81 are really challenging for that position. Marcus Potts now has a position, dives down underneath the 22 of Joshua Ramos, and it looks like he's going to take that position. Big wiggle there. Oh,
Big
problems
wiggle.
behind the field. The 5 car and others in the wall.
Caution flag on the speedway. The 5 of Patrick Allhopper, and a big wreck there in turn number 4. Going to put us underneath the Service Master Clean yellow flag for the 5th time on lap 47, and not a lot of green flag laps thus far, folks. Tyler, not necessarily what we were hoping to see, but with all the damage on the racetrack, we may start to see this race start to get more single file and strung out here, probably around halfway, you think?
Right around halfway is where you start to see the guys that really tried to take care of their stuff, not necessarily being able to due to circumstances, but those that tried and actually stayed clean, they're the ones that are going to start rising to the top of the leaderboard there, and we'll start to see more spread out action, but still some very tight racing. But right now it just seems like there's little patience to be had from the drivers here at Bristol.
Bucky, what's your thoughts here? I'm really seeing a lot of aggression out of the guys mid-pack. I mean, it's taken a long time for some of these guys to claw their way up from the back, but I mean, our temper's really starting to play here already. 50 laps in the books here from Bristol.
Most definitely. I think the key word tonight is frustration. Guys like Ray Richer, he had a penalty a couple of weeks ago and was not able to set a qualifying lap. So he had to start at the back of the pack. Now, the practice races this week, Ray Richer had a couple of top 5s, even won a practice race here at Bristol in the Domino's TYJ League. So he felt very confident about his chances. But with the penalty of not being able to qualify, he was just caught up in that wreck moments ago and has some serious damage. He's going to be on pit lane for quite some time. So frustration is definitely key. Got to remember, tonight is St. Patrick's Day. Is luck on your side?
We're going to take a run through the top 10 on the racetrack at the moment. Justin Anderson, still your race leader in the 16 Finnegan's Ford Fusion. The 62 of Ellery Queen rides second. Mike Donahue rides in the 70. He's in 3rd spot. The 4th spot goes to the 41 Haas CNC Automation Chevrolet. He's going to ride 4th. 5th goes to the 19 of Curtis Young. He started 29th all the way up to 5th. Marcus Potts in the 2. He is in 6th, 7th to the 22 of Joshua Ramos, 8th to the 20 of Eric Hawk, 81 Joey Lamb is 9th, and Ryan Stonecker rounds out the top 10. Bucky, a lot of big guys who practice very well and have raced well thus far. They've clawed their way up into the top 10. Although I do see the 19 of Curtis Young and the 2 of Marcus Potts, those guys very quick in practice. They're starting to claw their way up through the field here, and Potts, no stranger to trying to put himself in victory lane. Very experienced racer. I like what he has to bring here to the short tracks, and it's very likely, I think, that he's going to be in the top 5 and top 3 here before too long.
Most definitely, Marcus Potts is one of our skilled drivers in the league, and it will not be surprising if he is one of the guys battling it out for the win here tonight. You look down the field at we only have 15 drivers on the lead lap. And any of those drivers in the top 15, it's no telling where they'll end up. We've seen guys like Chad Payne drop to the back. Sean Muir qualified 10th. He's in 16th, first car a lap down. But definitely Marcus Potts, if he can stay out of trouble, he's definitely going to be one of the guys to beat tonight.
The American Ethanol green flag going to be displayed once again, field underneath the gas pedal, so to speak. They're on the hammer and up through the gearbox. The 41 of Robert McFarland. He's going to shoot around the outside of Ellery Queen, who just did not go. Spun tires really bad on the restart. The 2 of Marcus Potts going to put a power move around the outside all the way up into the 3rd spot, and he's going to look for more. He's looking at the inside of Robert McFarland out of 2.
The 2 of Marcus Potts is wasting no time making his way up through the field. He is already up to 2nd place, and now he's going to set sights on the 16 of Justin Anderson. But right behind the 2 car, there is a huge pack of cars, including the 41, the 20, the 70, the 19, and it looks like the 62 of Ellery Queen. He just bailed out of that pack right there, saying, "Not today, I want to live to see the end of this race."
Very wise move indeed. How about the 70 of Mark Donahue trying to work around the inside of Robert McFarland there. Eric Hawk moved around the 41 machine as well. How about the 19 of Curtis Young? We mentioned him just before we dropped the green flag once again. He's got basically a modified no nose on the front end of that Ford Fusion, and he's doing quite well. I mean, aero not necessarily that important here, but he's doing very well, almost knocking on the door of the top 5, but he's getting passed by the 48 of Ryan Steinecker.
Caution flag out on the racetrack, going to see what brought it out. Oh, and big mess on the back stretch, or the front stretch, hard to tell right now, but it looks like the 22, the 9, the 88 involved. A big mess there going down into the corner.
Well, one thing for sure, if you guys are disappointed that you don't get to see that many wrecks in the NASCAR series, definitely getting your money's worth watching this iRacing race here at Bristol. Plenty of carnage to go around. We may end up having a red car win this thing, guys.
It's definitely not outside the realm of possibility. And Tyler, as we go underneath the Service Master caution flag for, I don't know, already it seems like the umpteenth time here on lap number 59. 60 going to go in the books already this time around for your leader, Justin Anderson. It's going to be interesting to see just how many cars are without damage. I mean, I'm seeing the leader already has big rear end damage on that machine. And behind them, 2 clean cars, a guy with a nice little door scrape behind that. And, you know, we're actually seeing a lot of carnage on all the cars here already in the early going. We're not even halfway yet.
I believe the 16 got his damage in the opening laps of the race, so it's really not had any effect on his ability right now. But I think a lot of these guys out here are saying low downforce. What downforce? They don't need any right now around Bristol. They're just beating their cars up and just still going fast out here. Take the 19 of Curtis Young, for instance. No front end, as we said, but he's still fighting there in 7th position.
Fighting, doing very well, trying to hold on there. And the 81 of Joey Lamb looks like he's got some front end damage on board that machine, as does the 33 of Brad Roast. A little bit of right side fender damage on his machine as well. The 51 lap machine of Justin Faulkner, he's 5 laps down. And how about this, folks? Just 13 cars out of 38 who were scheduled to start the race still on the lead lap. Multiple cars, almost 2/3 of the field, multiple laps down, and several drivers already out of the race.
Now that we have a moment here with us being under caution, I'd like to let everyone know that tonight's race is kind of a race in honor and in memory of Master Trooper Jay Walker. He's a 42-year decorated trooper who was tragically murdered in the line of duty March 7th of 2013. The family would like me to say that he was a loving husband, father, grandfather, brother, and son, and hero, and he is deeply missed by his friends and family. The Domino's TYJ Racing League is honoring Trooper Jay Walker tonight in this race here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
And we'll honor the memory of the fallen trooper by adding just a moment of silence for the fallen trooper. And as we get ready to go underneath the American Ethanol green flag, once again, Justin Anderson going to take the outside lane. The 2 of Marcus Potts. He's going to restart in the second spot on the inside, the 70 of Mark Donahue, and the 20 machine of Eric Hawk, third and fourth. Hawk with the third spot on the racetrack there. As the pace car dives to the safety of pit road, getting ready to come up through the gearbox once again. Good restart by the 2 of Marcus Potts, but Anderson out and away with the lead. He's going to climb the banking. Potts is going to charge to the inside and take the lead on the back straightaway.
Very aggressive move by Marcus Potts to take the lead. He came from 33rd, did not post a qualifying lap, and is now our leader on lap 66. Impressive run by Marcus Potts.
Impressive nonetheless. The 70 of Mark Donahue, he's going to look to the inside of the 16 of Justin Anderson, but he's got to worry about the 40 of Ryan Steinecker. Steinecker on 4 fresh Goodyear tires here from a couple of cautions ago. He's knocking on the back door. The 81 of Joey Lamb as well. The 20 of Eric Hawk. Looks like he's had a boat anchor thrown around the backside of that machine. He's got to worry about the 19 of Curtis Young. Young looking to the inside of the 20 of Eric Hawk.
And more
big
cars.
Mess in turn number 1. 16 the 41. Big mess and an unfortunate end for the night for Justin Anderson. He was leading a bunch of the laps and just lost it coming out of turn number 4 on the front stretch. Came back across. 41 of. Hard hit for the 41 of Robert McFarland.
Tough luck for him. Replay on your screen showing that incident, and we're going to take this time to make another caution flag of our own. You're watching the Domino's TYJ Cup Series coming to you live from the Bristol Motor Speedway. You're watching iRacing Live, and this is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back, everybody, to LSRTV's live coverage of the Bristol 200 here for the Domino's TYJ Cup Series. Underneath the caution flag for the 8th or 9th time here tonight. Already kind of losing count here. 7th caution flag, so... 7th caution flag here once again. Marcus Potts, the leader. Mark Donahue in 2nd. Ryan Steinecker, 3rd. Those are your front 3. And going to take this time to... throw a shout out to Bucky Burt, Bucky Burt's radio show, and he is the man behind the mic there, airing on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern from Charleston, and listen to all the NASCAR talk from last week and hear the info from the insiders of the sport, and check it out today at BuckyBurtRadio.com. And Bucky, this is a really abnormal race, I have to say, because we're not used to seeing all this kind of carnage this early in the race.
Yeah, this is very unlike what the Domino's TYJ Racing League produces on a weekly basis, if you will, of racing. Uh, Quite frankly, I'm not surprised that it's been somewhat of a wreck fest tonight, and I think that that's just designed to everyone going for the same real estate on such a short racetrack. Eventually, they'll get it together. They always do, and I look forward to them doing that as we go back green with Marcus Potts in the lead. Watch him to be very successful here on this run.
Green flag waving once again in the air, and a good restart by Marcus Potts, but possibly a better one by the 81 of Joey Lamb, and very tight out of turn number 2. The 70 of Donahue got loose. He's going to take the 81 of Joey Lamb up the track as far as he can, but Lamb going to get around Donahue for that second spot, as that was really tight down there in 3 and 4.
Almost rubbing the paint off of each other's doors between the 81 and the 70. Now everything gets single filed out here, but I hate to say it because of the dreaded commentator's curse, but look at that 48 machine, not a scratch on it. It is just pristine, and that's what you need to finish this race, but hopefully you can keep it that way until the end of it.
And there is some speed underneath that 81 of Joey Lamb, as he is bringing the pack with him and making a charge at Marcus Potts. Right up to the back bumper, they're going to go high. And it seems like the 2 is taking every lane that the 81 of Joey Lamb wants to go. And that is allowing the 70 of Mike Donahue to close in and try to make a 3-car battle for the lead with the 48. Now the 48's making a move on the 70. This is getting really interesting for the lead.
Top 5 all underneath the blanket at the moment. The 70 of Donahue looking to the inside of Lamb. Lamb trying to get around the 2 of Marcus Potts, your race leader. Those guys all trying to go in all over the place. And to Marcus Potts' credit, he's trying to do his best Jean Girard imitation all over and 3 wide and all by himself and still keeping it out front of everybody. But Lamb, they're knocking on the door. He's looking to the inside. Is the 51 machine. He's several laps down. That's going to be Justin Faulkner, and he is way off the pace. But he's moving up through the field, and he's got fresher tires than the leaders.
Looks like the 51, he's trying to get his lap backs the hard way here. He's racing side by side with the 81, not for position, but now he's the second car in line with the leaders. And it looks like he's going to go from 5 laps down. He's going to unlap himself to just 4 down. But side by side for P3 there between the 70 and the 48. 70 gets a run off the high side there. But here's Ryan Steinecker down on the inside. Almost make contact.
It's almost as if Marcus has no clue that the 51 is a lap down car. All he has to do is let him go, because what it's allowing is, and he gets clear there. But yeah, what exactly? Once it.
What 70.
Got a little bit of help from the 48 of Ryan Steinecker, and gave him the old bump and run. The 70 of Mike Donahue, excuse me. He collects it back up, and how about the 19 of Curtis Young? He's doing his best Ryan Preece imitation.
Underneath for the
and
lead.
He's driving his modified to get around him. He's up in the top 4. And how about that? Joey Lamb going to take the lead at the stripe as they're door-to-door at 1 and 2. Potts up on the high side.
Yeah, Joey Lamb has been working him, and he's finally got the bottom lane with Marcus up top, and I think that's going to prevail this time.
Joey Lamb gets it done on the bottom side, throws it down there, and pulls off the pass for the lead. Marcus Potts drops back to second place, but Ryan Steinecker, he's sitting right in third place there, and he's working the back bumper of Marcus Potts as they go down into turn number 1, side by side right now. Ryan Steinecker comes back up the hill there. Marcus Potts still holds the outside due to the higher banking on the outside line, but Marcus Potts right now is going to hold on to second spot as the 81 of Joey Lamb just checks out from the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's down to about a second, 1.1 second lead or so the next time around at the stripe. Potts still holding off the 48 of Ryan Steinecker and 19 of Curtis Young. He's going to insert himself into the battle. He's got fresher tires in both of those cars. He's trying to work the outside of Ryan's machine, and Potts doing everything he can to hold everybody up, but his tires have got to be about used up as we're coming up 10 laps now from halfway.
three wide situation as they battle for third place with the lap down car. Steinacker, Young, and the 29. 3 wide going down to turn number 1, but it looks like Curtis Young. Oh, there goes the 48. Big mess down in turn 1.
It's the commentator's curse, as Tyler was just talking about how the 48 was so clean and pristine, and now it's damaged and possibly going to the garage.
Heavy damage on the 48 of Ryan Steinecker, and that's going to put us underneath the Service Master Clean yellow caution flag for the 8th time in replay up on your screen. You're going to see the incident that happened there, and I do believe there was a lap car involved with that as well, but tough luck for Ryan. He had shown a lot of speed, and one would think leaders would have to come to pit road at some point here for fresh tires, but most of your leaders still staying out.
I gotta say, going back through that caution, the great save right there by the number 20. He got hit in the rear end by the 86 trying to slow down for that wreck, but he just power slides it through that corner to avoid the rest of that wreck.
Marcus Potts going to come down to the safety of pit road and to the attention of his pit crew. Right side's already on that machine. Left side's going up on his machine. He pits on the backstretch here, and he's going to be the guy that's, I think, is going to be in the catbird seat. 11 drivers on the lead lap. Steinecker going to fall off with all the damage there, so 10 drivers effectively on the lead lap here once everybody cycles back around here. And if you're Marcus Potts, I think you're doing the wisest thing. Everybody else has about a 20 to 30 lap run on their tires here as we're almost up to halfway. And really, you're putting yourself in good position to charge up through the field and take tires once again, possibly 50 to go or so with another caution. And then you might not be pitting once again until the end of the race.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty bold move by the number 2 there, but looks like Joey Lamb, he's going to stay out on the track here, and looks like the number 20, Eric Hawk, he's going to bring his car down pit road now as well, which is going to help move Marcus Potts back up into a higher up position there. Such a short racetrack around here that by the time the pits open, some drivers don't even know that it is, so they can't service their cars. But Justin, let's talk a little bit about the advantage and disadvantage of pitting on the front stretch versus pitting on the back stretch here.
Well, really, underneath the green flag, I mean, nobody has to go fully around on pit road, so you can enter the backstretch and exit on the backstretch, and really everybody's equal. But when it comes down to the caution flag, you really have to make a good entry into your pit stall on the backstretch. But then you have to be careful, because you round that curve, if you go too low and you're rolling a little bit too fast, you may incidentally trip. The speed sensor here in NASCAR will give you 5 miles an hour. Same thing here in iRacing. It'll give you 5 miles an hour, and if you go over that pit road speed limit of 35 miles an hour, it will give you a black flag and send you to the tail end of the longest line. And how about that? Marcus Potts going to come back out in the second spot. I think everybody else came down for service that last time around.
I've got a quick question for you. I know we're going back to green here. Well, I guess we'll wait till we go back to another caution.
American Ethanol green flag going to wave once again. American Ethanol, powering NASCAR, American made, American grown. And again, if it's good enough for NASCAR, it's good enough for your car. And you can follow them at AmericanEthanol.com. Marcus Potts out to the lead on the 4 fresh tires, going to get around the 81 of Joey Lamb. Mark Donahue in second, charging hard. He's trying to work his way into this battle. And 19 of Curtis Young with his modified front end on that machine. He's in the 4th spot and doing very well. The 91 of Jim Locking. He's going to work very hard to hold on to that 5th spot. And actually, he got passed by the 20 of Eric Hawk before the scoring loop updated. So Hawk now up to the 5th spot on fresh tires. Very light damage on that car. He may be looking sporty here as the race starts to wear on.
Marcus Potts still leading the field right now, but a battle here for second and third place. Mike Donahue in the 70 on the inside of the 19 of Curtis Young. Looks like Curtis Young is easily going to drive around the outside of the 70 as they come out of turn number 2, and it's a 3-wide situation. Eric Hawk gets some contact from the 70 car.
The 70 of Mike Donahue going to get a little bit of an incidental contact there. The 51 of Justin
Marcus in
Faulkner
the
trying
wall.
to work himself back onto the lead lap, but he's got a long way to go. And Tyler, I know for a fact, Marcus Potts, this is what he wants to see. He's out to a comfortable lead, half a straightaway or so. Joey Lamb still hanging tough, but he's got to worry about that 19 of Curtis Young. He's breathing down his neck, and he's really got to try to hold these guys off on older tires.
Yeah, I really like what the number 2 car did there. He came down pit road, got his 4 fresh tires, and the 81, he stayed out on track there on old tires, and now he's holding up the rest of the field as the number 2 can just continue to drive away from the field and set his own pace. And with so little cars left running with minimal damage, Marcus Potts just seems like he's going to be the one to run away with this thing here now.
And as we're just past the halfway mark here, we'll take time to recognize our iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing.com, the leader in motorsport simulations and the official sim racing partner of NASCAR. And up front right now is going to be the 2 of Marcus Potts, the 19 of Curtis Young, going to clear the 81 of Joey Lamb for second. Mark Donahue going to be shown in third, Joey Lamb in fourth, Eric Hawk fifth, Jim Locking, the 91, rides sixth, seventh to the 86 of Steve Cunningham, eighth, the final car on the lead lap, going to be the 62 of Ellery Queen. David Gainforth from the 101 rides ninth, and rounding out your top 10 will be the 53 of Ivan Jones.
Justin Faulkner, who is now closing in on Marcus Potts to get another lap back. He rides in 11th place, 4 laps down. Len McNeese is 12th. Gerald Heffley in 13th. Sean Meir runs in the 14th position. Ryan Steinacker 15th. Chad Payne is 16th. Brad Rohr 17th. Brent Scott rides in 18th position. Joe Owen 19th. Justin Anderson, your early leader tonight, he's in 20th spot.
In 21st is Robert McFarland, 41 laps down. In 22nd will be Dennis Cook. 23rd, Josh Ramos. 24th, Ray Schmidt. 25th, Ray Richard. 26th will be Gary Brown. 27th, Patrick Eloffer. And 28th is Ray Sanders. 29th will be Russ Coe. And 30th, Philip Meyer.
31st, David May in the 88. Brent Rogers is 32nd. Don Norris involved in the first caution of the night, 33rd. Curtis Aho, 34th. Dean Viney, 35th. Tyler Roberts, 36th. Gary Weston, 37th. And rounding out the field, last car on the leaderboard, Zachary Duba in 38th position.
This has been your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of racing possibilities on the web, visit iRacing.com today to sign up. And as we look back towards the front of the field, still the man of the hour is the 2 of Marcus Potts. He's got about 3/4 of a second over the 19 of Curtis Young. Mark Donahue has settled into the 3rd spot quite nicely and on the hunt, looking at the back door of the 19 of Curtis Young for that 2nd spot.
Trouble, 51. The 70
Trouble
car,
finding the 70 of Mike Donahue. He's going to cream right into the spun machine of 51 of Justin Faulkner, and that's going to basically effectively end his night. Heavy engine smoke coming out of that Miller Highlight machine, and again, trouble striking here just past halfway.
an unfortunate end to the number 70's night, almost reminiscent of the earlier crash with the 41 and the 16 there. The 51 just loses it, a lazy spin out of turn number 2 there, all the way down the front stretch, and the 70 with nowhere to go. A hard break for the 70 there, running in 3rd position.
We're going to take time to step aside here. You're watching the Bristol 200 here for the Domino's TYJ Cup Series. You're watching LSRTV, the voice of sim racing on iRacing Live.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly.
Welcome back, everybody. Getting ready to go back underneath the American Ethanol green flag once again. The 91 of Jim Locking was your leader. Spun his tires on the American Ethanol restart. And Joey Lamb on 4 fresh tires. He's going to get the lead there. And Locking going to hold up the 19 of Curtis Young a little bit going into turns 3 and 4. Right there, knocking on the back door inside of about a half a car length. The gap between those two and Curtis Young. Again, looking at the outside of Locking out of 2. And Locking going to shut the door again.
And Joey Lamb loves seeing this. Everyone came down pit road except for the 91 there. And now the 91 is trying to hold off the 19, the 62, and the 2 car. Looks like Curtis Young is going to get a run on the outside along with Marcus Potts. That's going to drop the 91 back down to 4th position as the 19 and the 2 set sights on the 81 of Joey Lamb.
62, Ellery Queen going to try to work around the 91 of Jim Locking and trying to do it on the low side and going to get a little bit closer, has to get out of the throttle. And if you're Queen, you have to wonder, I mean, just how long can you wait for Locking to try to give you the low side there? And he's going to do it right there, but going to have to take a little bit of advantage and kind of be aggressive. Might have to take a few guys up the track here in the later going. Eric Hawk, not a good restart, mired in lap traffic as he's trying to work around the 15 machine of Don Norris in the Domino's car. And he's stuck well back, about some 3.5 seconds off the main group of cars.
You know, being with Ellery being held up by Jim Locking on old tires, he lost 1.5 seconds to Marcus Potts in 3rd, and he is gaining back a little bit lap by lap. But just being held up that much, you lose so much ground here at Bristol.
Bristol, the last great Coliseum here. 7 cars remaining on the lead lap here as we're coming around to about 70 to go here in just a couple of laps here. Going to be 71 to go this time by for your leader, Joey Lamb. Curtis Young 2nd, Marcus Potts 3rd. 1.7 seconds separates the top 3, and Potts just trying to conserve his tires because he's shown that he's got speed, but he's been able to burn up those tires, pushing a little too hard, Tyler, and he's showing a lot of speed. But how about that damaged machine, the 19 of Curtis Young, been the fastest car on the property all night long, and he's really showing it, even though it basically looks like a tour type modified on the front end of that machine.
Yeah, the 19 comes in here week in, week out, whether it's the Cup cars or the trucks, and just puts on a show. Last week, the trucks took it to the track at the old Daytona configuration with all the bumps and bruises that one has to offer, and Curtis Young came out the winner of that race. And right now it looks like he's trying to set sights on the 81 and try and continue his winning streak here in the Cup Series.
And the leader, Joey Lamb, getting around the Tim Wilkerson colored machine. and that's going to be, I believe that's the 9, so he's already laps down on the racetrack. That's Chad Payne, and Levi Ray and Shoop Incorporated sponsors several notable NHRA drag racing teams, if you follow that form of motorsport. But as we work already, coming up, let's see, 65 to go this time by for Lamb, and that gap's opening up about a tenth a lap. Lamb really going to work, but you have to wonder just how long before those tires really start to give way.
Well, it seems to be all about whether or not the 19 is also pushing just as hard as the 81. The 81, he's trying the strategy of put as many lap down cars between him and second place as possible, and right now he already has maybe about 3 or 4 sitting in between him and the number 19 of Curtis Young. So Curtis Young, he's not really in the clear of anything. He still has plenty of ground and traffic to work his way through.
Battle for P3. Oh, and car in the wall, trouble. Marcus Potts going to get the, I wouldn't quite say it's the bump and run, but he got stuffed in that outside wall. Ellery Queen was challenging there for that third spot there, and just took the right rear quarter panel and stuffed Potts up into the outside wall right there. And Potts again up into the safer barrier around the outside there. I'm pretty sure that's got some very adverse effects on that machine there, as Jim Locking in the 91 on old tires is really starting to close in on Potts, and going to relegate him back to the 5th spot as Locking now puts himself up in the 4th spot, and he's already lost about 6 seconds or so off the lead.
Yeah, the most damaging part of that incident is that we stayed green. So it wouldn't be a matter of time if we don't get a caution that Marcus Potts may end up losing enough ground to go a lap down.
It does not look like a good situation for the number 2. He seems to be down on power coming off the corners and down the straightaways, so now it's just going to be a fight to survive and get as many points as possible for Marcus Potts in the 2 car. But Ellery Queen, it just looked like he tried to dive it down in there and try and pull a slide job on the 2 car, and didn't quite make it work as they both made contact. But Ellery Queen running a solid 3rd place now, however 6 seconds behind the leader. Curtis Young 2nd place, 3.6 seconds behind the leader. Joey Lamb is just flying around Bristol right now.
And might I say, folks, he's got the only nice car on the evening that's basically left on the racetrack there. Joey Lamb putting it to good use here, already out to almost 4 seconds on the racetrack. And we're going to take this opportunity to step aside one final time tonight here. We're going to go LSRTV non-stop as you watch the Bristol Motor Speedway 200 for the Domino's TYJ Cup Series. You're watching LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31, and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the Bristol 200. Here is trouble on the front straightaway. Marcus Potts going to bang the inside safer barrier, going to keep it going, and it looks like the green flag still out on the speedway.
A bad situation just gets worse for Marcus Potts. He was under power for that bit of the run. Looks like there is slight contact between him and the 15, and the number 2 just doors the driver's side, flattens it against the inside wall there.
And Marcus is bringing it to pit road now.
Inside of 40 laps to go here. Joey Lamb in a runaway right now, but trying to work his way through all the lap traffic on the racetrack at the moment. The gap is around 5 seconds back to the 19 of Curtis Young. Ellery Queen trying to hold off Jim Locking in the 91. Those two have been a battle here in a little bit here for that third spot, and the fifth car, the 86 of Steve Cunningham, about to go a lap down in fifth. So just 5 cars remaining here on the lead lap, and it's really starting to turn into a runaway, but coming around to about 36 to go next time by. But Curtis Young trying to keep that gap steady, but again, now it's starting to open up now that Joey Lamb starts to find his rhythm once again.
Yeah, Joey Lamb right now is just putting on a clinical for how to get around Bristol here. Oh, it does help that his car is one of the cleanest ones left in the race. The 19, as he's running in second place, is still up there, but missing the entire front portion of his car.
Basically, the Tim Feeder will look to that front end of the Curtis Young. He's hanging tough. He's about 6.2 seconds back here as we're creeping up on 30 to go here at Bristol. Some of the guys that have creeped their way up into the top 10, the 84, Len McNeese, after an early race incident. He's up to the A spot 6 laps down, and Marcus Potts still on pit road, holding tough to that 9 spot, but there's Gerald Heffley, the 9 of Chad Payne, the 29 of Brent Scott, all still possibly within reach before the end of the race for Marcus Potts, but tough luck for him because he would really look like he had something until that contact with Ellery Queen, and that just pretty much effectively ruined his night.
Yeah, one thing for certain is the points are going to change quite a bit after this race tonight. Sean Muir, who came in as your points leader, he's 16th at the moment, and he is officially DNF'd from the race. So it'll be interesting to see if we have a change for the lead or if it closes up. Curtis Young running second now, and he is continuing to lose ground on Joey Lamb. And we have a battle for third between Ellery Queen and Jim Locking. We're going to go right to that one. Tyler.
As we saw on the restart, the 62 got himself around the 91, but the tables have turned on the 62 as this run has really shown that's the longest one of the evening. Older tires on the 91 machine of Jim Locking, and he's trying his hardest to get to that back bumper of the 62. They're battling side by side for a little bit, but the battle has now seemed to phased itself out, but they're still within striking distance of one another as Jim Locking comes up close to the outside.
Several cars involved in this area of battle. The 62 at Ellery Queen just tried to ride the bottom there. The 91 of Jim Locking going to try to stick it up top on the high banks and try to go high, wide, and handsome around the outside of Ellery Queen for that final podium spot here as we're coming up on 25 laps to go for your leader, Joey Lamb. 9 seconds the gap between him and Curtis Young. Is right second, going to be almost 14 seconds back to Ellery Queen and Jim Locking. I hate to say it, guys, but there's a good chance we may be just 2 cars on the lead lap at the drop of the checkered flag.
If Joey Lamb keeps up this pace and if Curtis Young has to deal with a lot of traffic, this might even be an old kind of finish to this Bristol race with only 1 driver left on the lead lap. And that last time out of turn number 4, Joey Lamb is using every bit of the racetrack to just get as much speed out of it as possible. He had his left side tires dipped below the apron, just getting that car to turn, so he's using everything that this track has to offer as far as grip goes.
Guys, as far as the battle for third goes, the 62 of Ellery Queen has used the lap down cars in that huge pack that they're running in to get the distance between him and the 91. And it is just amazing to watch this battle as the 91 is basically helpless, with some of these guys on fresher tires and taking the lanes that he definitely wants. If he can get clear of some of these cars, we may end up having another battle again for third. And all of the Marcus Potts fans, the 81 of Lamb is there to put them a lap down. And all of our Marcus Potts fans, he did come back out on the racetrack, so he is not officially out of the race, but he is still running just a few laps down.
12 laps off the pace for Marcus Potts here. Big trouble almost for your leader, Joey Lamb in the 81. Had to kind of go around the Ricky Bobby fast car of the 28 machine, and Gerald Heffley wisely yielding back out of that. But Lamb still trying to put fourth place. Jim Locking down a lap there. Had to be very, very patient to try to carve through the lap traffic. Almost down to 15 laps to go, Tyler. And Lamb, short of a tragic accident on the racetrack, he's got this thing signed, sealed, and delivered. Although Curtis Young took about 5 seconds off that lead just because of how hard it was for Lamb to cut through all that lap traffic.
Yeah, that was a lot for Joey Lamb to work with, but due to his massive lead over second place, he was able to pick and choose, be smart as to where he was going to run, and just was able to cut his way through the field as easily as possible. And now that he's out of that big mess, he's now opened up another second and a half now. So Curtis Young has dropped to 5.5 seconds back, as Curtis Young now seems to be catching the back part of that huge pack.
Doing the best he can to get there. He's still hanging tough, 5.3 seconds the gap, and Jim Locking falling further and further afield from the 62 at Ellery Queen. In fact, the last car on the lead lap is Jim Locking, and it's about a car length between himself and the leader, Joey Lamb. Lamb right there, try to put him a lap down, but Lamb just kind of counting the laps, if you will. He's inside of 15 to go. Going to be, I believe, 13 to go when he crosses the stripe right there, and there he goes. 3 cars just remaining on the lead lap, and it's about half a second to 3/4 of a second up to the 62 at Ellery Queen, and Lamb just putting on a clinic, trying to work his way around lap traffic, including that 54 Eris machine.
I think it's very smart that Jim Locking just move over and let the 81 go by. We're down to, coming into the side of the last 10 laps. You want to be able to finish this race, because if anything were to happen with Jim, if he were to get caught up in a wreck, he could possibly lose 4 or 5 more spots. And that's not that big of a change, but it is when you're talking points.
And as we work now, 10 laps to go for your leader, Joey Lamb. He's right there. He's got a 5-second lead over Curtis Young, 15 seconds to the car that's directly in front of your race leader, Ellery Queen, in third. And Ellery about to go a lap down here. The 20 of Eric Hawk trying to claw his way back into the top 5, trying to get around the 71 machine. He's several laps down as well. Lamb just trying to do what he can to close it out here at Bristol, as he's doing everything right. No scratches on that machine as we're coming around, I believe, 8 laps to go.
Joey Lamb just trying to play it smart, take it easy right now. He has a 3.5 second lead over second place Curtis Young, as he's trying to put the 62 car a lap down, leaving only 2 cars left on the lead lap. It looks like the 19 car of Curtis Young is catching up, as Joey Lamb, he makes it around the 62, going around the outside. Now only has the 20 of Eric Hawk in his way before he has some relatively clean racetrack. But going back to second place, Curtis Young. Oh, the 91! Almost a big disaster for the 91, as now Curtis Young is stuck behind the 112 and 91. That's really going to seal this race for Joey Lamb and Curtis Young. Joey Lamb now back to a huge lead over Curtis Young now.
Inside of 5 laps to go, 4 at the stripe this time. Joey Lamb out to over a 5-second lead now over Curtis Young, who is the only remaining car on the lead lap. 5.1 seconds is coming around this time by. 3 to go for Lamb out of 4.
It's amazing that the 19 of Curtis Young is out there still on the lead lap with the type of damage that he has. And as we're just counting the laps, hoping that it stays green, Joey Lamb is coming to with two to go in the 81. He's really put on a clinic this last half of the race, dominating, probably leading the most laps. I don't have an exact count on laps led, and yeah, I'm getting word that he has. He's led 102 laps right now, and he is coming to the white flag as we go back to Justin.
Credit one, bank one to go already in the air to 3 and 4 for the final time. Joey Lamb going to survive all the chaos and the carnage. He will win the Bristol 200 for Domino's TYJ Racing Cup Series. Here at the last great Coliseum, congratulations to Joey Lamb. He put on a clinic. Just 2 cars left on the lead lap at the finish. Curtis Young going to be shown second, 5.4 seconds back. That is your margin of victory. Ellery Queen will round out the bottom step on the podium in third. Steve Cunningham, Jim Locking rounds out the top 5. Those drivers all 1 lap down, 3rd through 5th.
Fireworks over Bristol Motor Speedway here tonight as Joey Lamb brings it home with the win. Curtis Young, the only other driver on the lead lap, just a dominating performance here in the later stages of the race by the 81.
And we'll catch up with everybody who's on the podium here as Joey Lamb going to burn it down on the front straightaway. We'll step aside. We'll come back to you with the post-race show. Coming to you live from the Bristol Motor Speedway. This is the Domino's TYJ Racing Cup Series on iRacing Live at LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back, everybody. This is the post-race show for the Domino's TYJ Cup Series, the Bristol 200. At the checkered flag here, going to take you through our full field rundown. Joey Lamb going to take the victory. Curtis Young Only other car on the lead lap, he will finish second in a badly damaged race car. 62, Ellery Queen will finish third, one lap down. Fourth to the 86 of Steve Cunningham. 91 of Jim Locking will round out your top five. And the sixth spot goes to the 20 of Eric Hawk, your pole sitter. And the 53 of Ivan Jones claws back to seventh. Eighth to the 84 of Len McNeese. Ninth to the 28 of Gerald Heffley. And rounding out the top 10 will be the 9 of Chad Payne.
11th place will go to the 2 of Marcus Potts. 12th, Brent Scott. David Gainforth will come home in 13th. Don Norris 14th. Mike Donahue will finish 15th. Justin Faulkner 16th. Tyler Roberts 17th. Ray Schmidt will come in 18th place. Curtis Ahone 19th. Rounding out the top 20, Gary Brown.
And in 21st is Philip Meyer. 22nd, Patrick Elhofer. 23rd goes to Ray Richer. And 24th will be Sean Muir. 25th, Ryan Steinecker. 26th, Dean Viney. 27th, Brad Roast. 28th, Joe Owen. 29th, Joshua Ramos. And 30th is Dennis Cook.
Rounding out the field is this number 16 of Justin Anderson finishing 31st. Robert McFarland 32nd. Russ Coe finishes 33rd. Ray Sanders finishes 34th, 35th, David May, Brent Rogers 36th, Gary Weston 37th, and rounding out the field, Zachary Duba finishes 38th place. Now we're going to bring it down to Gatorade Victory Lane, where Justin Ross now has caught up with our winner.
Thank you, Tyler. Alongside the winner of the race here, going to be the 81 of Joey Lamb. Joey Lamb, the winner of the Bristol 200. Joey, that was some kind of race there, man. You put on a clinic.
I don't know if I would call it a clinic, but it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, I would say interesting, but considering what everybody else had to work with, it was still clinicians' work. And congratulations to you. You had a couple of really close calls there on the racetrack. Just how hard was it working through all that lap traffic?
It got to be difficult at times. It's literally just, taking your time and really being patient with the lap cars because, they're racing for position too. And some of these guys are, not only are they fighting for position, but a couple of those guys there at the end, they were fighting to stay on the lead lap. So you just really got to be patient with them and just really pick and choose your battles around the racetrack.
Looking forward, I mean, you're showing a lot of speed tonight. Can you pick up when the Cup Series picks back up here in 2 weeks? Do you have what it takes to put on another performance like this, or is it just you find yourself it was kind of a stroke of luck tonight?
I believe Bristol's kind of like Daytona. I mean, I could have very easily been caught up in one of those accidents tonight. There is some stroke of luck at these tracks. I'm not sure where we're going next, but with my luck over here, I'm definitely a top 5 contender everywhere I go.
Can't do it by yourself, man. You did a whale of a job. You put it in victory lane. You did yeoman's work. Who's responsible for putting you in Gatorade victory lane here tonight?
I got to thank all of my guys over at Torque Racing, Zach Novak, Jimmy Mullis, Joe Galata, Rome Francis, Mr. Blossom. Also, got to give a shout out to all my guys at Outlaw Motorsports. My boss watching again tonight, Jeremy Duty and his wife. Thanks for all your support. And, Mr. Robert McFarland for putting on a great league, and y'all for doing a hell of a broadcast.
That's your winner here tonight. Joey Lamb in the 81 steals a big one here tonight. He put on clinicians' work and did a great job. Congratulations to you, Joey. Moving on down the row here, Tyler Herr, I believe you caught up with the second place finisher, Curtis Young.
Yes, indeed. I caught up with Curtis Young down here on pit road. A very strong second place effort here tonight. And with the new low downforce, Curtis, you decided to go with no downforce tonight as you were missing the entire front end of your car and still brought it home in second place. Talk to us about your race.
Well, I had to start the race in the back of the field. Ended up getting caught up in a wreck early, which cleaned the front end of my car off. Still running decent though, so I stayed out with everybody else on tires till I gained a bunch of positions and then just rode it out. There was a lot of lap cars kind of getting in my way, but they're racing for position too, so there's not much you can do there other than be patient. I'm sure Joey had to deal with that too.
Now, in the early stages of the race, when you still had all of your car intact, could you tell if there was a difference between how your car drove early on and then for the rest of the race? Was there any significant handling difference in the car? Were you down on power any, or was Joey Lamb just that quick here tonight?
I'm not sure if I was down on power, but it felt like it didn't turn as good. It wasn't sticking through the corners. So it was a little more difficult that way, but still ran decent enough for a second place finish. I just had to be patient that race. There's a lot of wrecks.
Well, you certainly did a great job at bringing it home in second place considering the damage. Who else gets it done for you for this number 19 car?
My teammates, Gary and Eric, by the way, congratulations to Eric on taking the pole tonight. And everybody who watches, my friends, Ty and Nick, and my dad, and sometimes my neighbor.
All right, Curtis, congratulations, and we'll see you next time next week for the Truck Series.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a good night.
And now we're going to send it down further on pit road to Bucky Burt, who has caught up with Ellery Queen.
Yeah, down here with Ellery Queen, the 62. Ellery, on that final restart there, you got tied up being stuck behind the 91 of Jim Locking, who did not come down on pit road. Do you think if you didn't get caught up, stuck behind him and lose so much ground, do you think you could have had enough to battle Curtis and Joey for the win?
Yeah, I think I might have had enough for Curtis, but Joey just ran away. I mean, he was on it tonight, so. But yeah, it was kind of rough going through the traffic and getting up to Curtis. I kind of lost him at the end.
What was the biggest struggle tonight? Having to deal with all those cautions and dodging the wrecks, or having to dodge the lap traffic?
Well, I mean, the cautions were all right. The lap traffic was okay. My big thing is I got a black flag off on a restart, and I went 4 laps down, so I had to come back from 4 laps down, and I'm pretty glad I finished in third.
Finishing third tonight, obviously it's a good points day for you. What do you look forward getting the most out of Bristol and going later into the season?
I look at it as if you can survive Bristol, you can survive anything pretty much. So I'm feeling pretty good about the rest of the season.
Sounds good. Tell everyone who gets this job done for you.
Well, I'd like to thank my new team Batteries Not Included Racing. That's Philip and Dennis and Justin. I'd like to thank my friend over here, Daniel, for letting me use his house for my sim rig here. My family for being supportive. And, of course, Robert at Domino's TYJ Racing for putting this league together.
Sounds good, Ellery. We appreciate it and look forward to having some more strong runs later in the season.
Thank you for having me on.
Yep, take care. All right, we're going to take it back up to the booth.
Going to take a rundown of the final thoughts on the evening, and I'll go right back to you, Bucky. Strange night. I mean, you don't see this hardly in any league, let alone Domino's TYJ. A strange night nonetheless. What's your takeaway from tonight?
My take tonight is definitely survival. What we saw in the late stages was what we typically see with the Domino's TYJ Racing League, is they end up figuring it out. You have to remember, this is the first season with all of these drivers together for this league, and each week you go to a different racetrack, and they're still learning how to drive with each other. And eventually they figure it out. Unfortunately, tonight it took them a little longer than what they usually take. Usually, all it is just a few practices, and they get it going. But I think with coming to Bristol, one of the shortest tracks on the circuit that they go to, having to deal with everything that Bristol gives you in the last great Coliseum, I think survival was the key, and definitely Joey Lamb and Curtis Young and Ellery Queen were the survivors tonight. And, you know, a lot of other drivers could take away, you know, having a good run. Chad Payne, he needed a top 10, even though he's 23 laps down, but he needed a top 10 after having some rough weeks in both the Truck and Cup Series. So I'm pretty sure, although he didn't have the race he wanted, but he still got a decent finish, and he can build on that. So definitely survival, the big thing tonight. And I think we're going to see a lot of great racing as this season goes on with these guys.
Tyler, what's your takeaway on the evening?
Well, besides Joey Lamb taking control of the race here in the final half, it was really a lot of comers and goers at the end here. I had no idea Ellery Queen was 4 laps down at one point and fights all the way back up to 3rd place. Curtis Young, missing half the car on the front end, he finishes 2nd. Eric Hawk, he was up and down all night long. But then you have some of the guys that start out front. You have Justin Anderson, he led a bunch, gets wrecked on the front stretch. Brad Rose started 3rd, he ended up 109 laps down. Your pole sitter even, Eric Hawk, he was fine, just 2 laps down, but still, it was a lot of essentially luck here tonight. You had a few guys getting the good luck, Joey Lamb staying out front almost the entire thing, but then guys having to really claw back and get up to the front and catching all the breaks that they needed to.
You know, and really, it's, again, a strange night, but you know, like you said, everybody was coming and going. Bucky, you know, you said that everybody figured out towards the end, and that's all very true, and, you know, it's strange. I mean, we got to remember, we're on a new build, and the guys were still getting used to the cars, but as we look forward to next week, the Domino's TYJ Truck Series going to make its return on LSRTV and iRacing Live, and you catch all the action then in 1 week's time. And for Bucky Burt and Tyler Herr, and for the producer, Cisco Scaramuza, I am Justin Rosenau, and I bid you safe travels, folks. We'll catch you on the flip side. This is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.